This is Miami All Access.
We're here with Coach Cleve, Wright, and senior point guard Courtney Larson after a 65-47 loss to Akron today. Coach, your opening statement on today's game.
I felt like our team in the first half did some really nice things and fought hard. Gave up too many points in both halves in transition, not getting back, and Akron is very good at that. That's their style, and so they really hurt us in the transition aspect of it. I really felt like, unfortunately, we did not come out in the second half at the beginning the way we wanted to. I think our players we're working that out. We're working that out and trying to get better, and I know we will. I think we saw some. We saw some fight a little bit in the second half there in the middle, trying to get it. And I just believe we need to be a team that doesn't have our energy and our focus being dictated by whether or not we're hitting shots or not. And sometimes I think we do that, unfortunately, because I really feel like other than defensive transition, our team did the defensive game plan well and felt like in the half court it was very effective.
Right, when a run like that happens, the beginning of the second half, they start out on a 17-0 run. Mm-hmm. What should the team do to help kind of stem the tide?
Well, I think, first of all, we called a couple timeouts right there, and I think what happens is we tend to lose our focus a little bit in those situations if our shots aren't going down or if they're scoring them. What happens is we start turning inside to ourselves instead of still trying to grind it out with each other and trying to keep each other on the same page. And so I can tell you that is not a fun locker room right now. They're disappointed. There's definitely disappointment there. I believe they wanted to come out and put together a good game. And what I would just want them to know, and they need to know, is that we're 5 games in. We're 5 games in, I guess, in our league, and there's a lot of games left, and there's a lot of chances for this team to get better and to make some noise.
All right. Courtney, offense was working fairly well in the first half. Didn't run as well in the second half. What do you think the differences were between the two halves?
Starting in the second half like we did, that's not really a great confidence booster. So I think, like he said, just coming out and kind of turning into ourselves and focusing on that last play or the last time the girl beat us down the floor instead of focusing on, hey, this is our next chance to score on offense. Like, let's focus on that. I think we were so caught up in the past that we just weren't focusing on the future, like Coach Wright said.
And you have a very young locker room. I mean, you're a senior, but you're coaching. You're working with about 5 freshmen, another player who's first-year player, other couple players that have only got a year or 2 of experience. How is it working with these players and helping them through when they get through tough stretches like this?
I think the great thing about this team is, despite how young we are, how many new people we have, we've developed relationships with one another to where we know how to pick the other person up or what is that trigger to help them get back on track or refocus. So I think the biggest thing for us to do is to continually do that as a team and just keep reminding the freshmen that and the new people that, like Coach Wright said, we're only 5 games in. We have plenty left to play. You have plenty left still to prove. So just kind of reminding them in that, and then also not to focus on the past plays, but just, we have a lot of ball game left to play. You can make, new mistakes, or, you can make a great play. Just don't focus on the past.
And Coach, to finish up, I know you haven't had a chance to look at film yet or anything, but what are some of the things that you will probably be working on as you get ready to hit the road again next week?
Well, certainly defensive. What do you think, defensive transition, Court?
I would hope
I think defensive transition is going to be on there, absolutely. And the good thing is when you go into the locker room and you see the disappointment. If I saw anything different, then I would be concerned. But I see in their eyes they want to be good, and they want to have success, and there's that desire. And I love what Courtney said about them developing relationships and being a close team. I believe they are a close team, and I believe that's what's going to help us get better in the future.
On a positive note, they're coming off. They just scored over 100 in their last game in a win. And they're averaging up towards 80, I think, in the season. You guys did hold them to 67 tonight.
No question.
What like, what positives did you take away from the defensive end because of that?
There's one thing I really felt, even the last couple games, I felt like our team has executed the defensive game plan. They've really bought into that part and really done a great job, a really great job. And I think they took confidence in that. So we need to continue in that vein, and we need to get confidence from that on the offensive end, so it can maybe create points and give us extra possessions. I mean, if you take their transition away, I mean, that's a big part of their offense. You'd be taking a big percentage of their offense away. I mean, you're talking about a game where both teams are below 50. Really, and so that would be unusual. But we did what we wanted. We kept in the 60s. We kept them low. We tried to keep, for the most part, we kept them the tempo that we wanted. It's just those blurbs. They were very explosive. They are a very explosive team, and so when they had those couple minutes where they went that way, especially in the second half at the beginning, and we weren't able to put a few points on there to stem the tide, we kind of had a little avalanche there. Now again, we gained our composure, cut it back to 11, had some chances there. So I am proud of them for that. I'm pleased with them for that, and we're just going to keep working. And that's one thing I like about this team is I know they want to keep working, and I know that motivation and desire is there, and we'll be ready for the next one.